The third and last dashboard available in our Skill Corners WEBAPP lab refers to match analysis. Here you have two main subsections, match reports and match center. Under the match reports, you can actually download match reports of two types, game intelligence data and physical data, belonging to the different packages. But before doing so, you have to select the season, competition, and team you want the reports to be about. So for example, since my favorite team in this case is Real Madrid, from last season, I'm gonna have the different filters set for this. You can obviously choose among all the different season, competitions, and teams that you have access to. Obviously, you can filter by date, focusing on matches that have happened either after or before a specific date. Let's think, for example, at occasions in which the team has changed the head coach and you want to see differences happening in one match where the head coach was one guy, in another match where there was another head coach. So as I was saying, when you go into a specific game, so for example, Real Madrid against Real Sociedad, you can actually click on Game Intelligence Data. If you click here, two reports will be appearing as two buttons, and you can actually download in PDF two different reports from Game Intelligence. One general report and one focusing on out of possession. So how the two teams have behaved, generally speaking, and out of possession from a game intelligence perspective. The other button is the physical data one, and if you click on it, you can actually download physical data. It's going to be a CSV with all the data relating to this specific game, or directly a PDF report just by clicking here. The other subsection of the match analysis dashboard is the match center, which is far more interactive and allows you to make a different analysis of what happened in one game or multiple games. So once again, here I'm selecting season 24-25, competition La Liga, teams, I'm going for Real Madrid again, and I'm selecting the Real Madrid versus Real Sociedad match, as this is the one I'm interested in. So I load events, which usually happen in a couple of seconds, and then I have to select the event type from our dynamic events package. So here we can actually choose among the 4 macro types, including player possession, everything that a player does with the ball, passing options, which actually relates to a player positioning, on-ball engagement, so on-ball actions, defensive actions, and off-ball runs, everything that a player does when he doesn't have the ball, when the team is in possession and is moving on the pitch with certain conditions. So let's start by player possessions. And again, let's say that for this specific example, we want to see players from Real Madrid and in particular, Luka Modric. So we go down here, we can filter by minutes. You can actually keep this at team level as well. So for example, you want to see the stats of Real Madrid as a full team, you can. Here you can select the position for the different players that you want to select. In this case, it's not useful for this example for me because I would just want to see stuff about Luka Modric and phases of play. So we filter down the data according to the different phases of play. We want to see what a midfielder does in build-up, in create, in finish, or different stuff. So you can also split plots by team on players. In this case, it's not daily because I'm looking at a single player, and then you can filter the data according to all the different flags available in our database. So time, duration, and so on and so on. So if I go down in player possession, we can actually see all the different, on the pitch map here, all the different possessions from Luka Modric and the possessions by type. So in this case, 43.3% of all possessions by Luka Modric are carry in this specific game. We can also see where all of this possession started throughout the game. Instead of dividing or just classifying possessions by type, we can also do it by outcome. So let's say we just click on outcome instead of subtypes, and we can see that 88% 98% of passes were successful, 9.2% were unsuccessful, and there's been like a 2.5% of possessions lost. Now, we can go up and do the same exercise with, another one, which is not player possession from another data type, and we go for passing options. So instead of looking at the times in which Luka Modric has the ball on his feet, we look at his positioning when someone else on his team has the ball. So I click Luka Modric again, and if we go down, we see that, for example, Luka Modric has made himself available to receive a ball 221 times throughout the game. 52% of the times this passing option, so he's basically moving to receive, has been targeted. 51.6 has been received, and so on and so on. And once again, we can see where the passing option has happened, or at least has started on the pitch. Now, the interesting thing here is, for example, that instead of outcome, so instead of looking at passing options that have been targeted, received experience, and so on, we can look at line breaks, which usually are really interesting from a match analysis perspective. So we see, for example, that out of the 221 passing options, 16 were breaking a line. We can actually see where, so through the second last line of pressure of the opposition, which usually is the midfield, or around the second last line, and so on. Once again, we can see the places where all of this happened, and we can see that in this specific game, Luka Modric was really active in positioning beyond the defensive midfield in this specific area. Now, if we remove the player selected here, we can also check the passing network of this specific game and just understand a bit how the team shaped, which were the best connections in terms of passing and passing options. Obviously, we can repeat this exercise for on-ball engagement and off-ball runs. The logic, again, is pretty much the same. Let's say, for example, going back to passing options that we want to focus on a specific phase. So here we have all the passing options from Luka Modric. Again, what we can do is by going here and selecting the phases of play, we can do, let's say we can just check all the passing options made available by Luka Modric in create. So all in the create phase, usually in the midfield of the pitch, with certain conditions in terms of pressure, and we see that these have been filtered down. So again, like quite simple too, you can filter down different stuff, and it is immediately visualized, including the pitch plots, the areas where things happen on the pitch, and also outcome, subtype, line breaks, and so on and so on. If we do on-ball engagement, for example, focusing on, once again, on defensive contribution, we still keep Real Madrid and Luka Modric as an example. If we go down, we can see where this on-ball engagement started, which are the types of on-ball engagement, be it pressing, recovery presses, or other, as well as changing the visuals here from subtype, so from pressing and on-ball engagement type, to outcome. So we click on outcome and we see what happened. Is it a neutral on-ball engagement? Did this affect a line break? And so on and so on. So don't forget also the last but not least important section is the information and updates section under the support area. We can basically get here all the updates that our WEBAPP lab goes through, the updates related to the data itself, and also the useful resources you can check to get more understanding about our data, including some code if you want to work autonomously with dynamic events. So thank you very much, and if you have any question, don't hesitate to reach out to your preferred point of contact in Skill Corner.